Okay.
We're here. It's February 3rd, 2021, and I'm Tim Montague, and I'm here with my Aunt Landa Freeman. Thanks for doing this, Landa. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome.
So, as I was telling you, I started recording some interviews with my dad, Peter Montague, about a year ago, and we just started with, his early memories of Connecticut and the 26-acre farm. I can't remember. It had a name, something Hill.
It was on Turkey Hill Road
Turkey Hill Road. Yes.
at the corner of Long Lots Road.
Yeah.
And my mother always used Turkey Hill as an address, and I always used Long Lots as an address.
Yin and yang.
Right.
So I don't have a a fixed agenda here, Landa. I just wanted to, and hopefully this will be one of several conversations we have, depending on your availability, but wanted to start to get your perspective on, your childhood and your parents. And I know that you've visited Virginia to where some of our ancestors lived. And so just want to collect all of that on, on tape.
Have you never been to Broadway?
No, I've never been to Broadway.
Oh, you should go.
I want to, and I will do that in 2021. I will make that a thing.
It's right. It's about a couple of miles off Route 81 as you're going south or north.
So tell me about your visit to visits to Broadway. What drew you there?
The family. Learning about the family and wondering why they were so dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the first time I met Gay, who now lives in Texas near her son.
Yeah.
I had never met her, but we met together at the funeral parlor because we had Rene's ashes to inter into the ground.
Okay, you have to explain who these people are.
Oh, well, Rena is my father's next oldest sister. My father's the oldest of four. But do you have a family genealogy with you?
No, I don't have a family tree. And
because my father was born in 1904, I think, and Rena was maybe 1906.
Yeah.
And Rand, I don't know when Rand was born, 1908, and Emmy in 19 whatever. So whoever has a family tree, that would be on it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where that is.
Yeah. So anyway, for $50, they opened up the cemetery, and Rena had to be put in with Emmy in the same plot because there wasn't enough room for, the cemetery is basically closed.
Mm-hmm.
No more space.
Yeah.
So that was that.
So he still has a living sibling?
Who?
John?
No.
Your father?
No. I don't know. I know everybody. Rena died in 1990 without a will. And I was at home in Clark Road in Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a call from my mother, and she said, Rena has died in her apartment and the police are there. Please give them a call. So I gave them a call, and they told me that I needed to find a funeral home immediately or they would put her in the city morgue.
Okay.
She lived on West 48th Street.
Yeah.
Where I had never been, but where Gay had been a lot, apparently. She and Emmy used to go and visit Rena all the time. I guess when they were getting along, and maybe even when they weren't getting along, I don't know. Anyway, my in Westport, where Pete and I grew up, we rarely saw any relatives. And I think there was ill will among a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't tell you the reason.
Yeah. So your dad grew up in Virginia, And your mom grew up in Queens?
Queens, yeah.
Yeah.
But my dad and his family moved to Queens, but I don't know when. He went to high school at a private school whose name I can't remember. It's either the Forest Hills Academy or Kew Gardens Academy.
Okay.
I just, every once in a while I see the name of the school and I say, oh, that's where Dad went.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So he was quite young then when he moved to New York.
Yeah, I think so. And he worked for his father, who was in the drapery business or the printed fabric business. And that failed in 1929. And then my dad and George Meade put together a business and they invited my father's father to join, Randolph Tucker.
Okay.
So my dad went from being the worker to being the boss.
Okay.
Which I think was probably hard for everybody.
Meade was a inventor,
I
if I
think
recall.
the two of them tried to make a machine that would do the printed fabric for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that they were ever successful. Did you ever go to the plant in Georgia?
No.
It was in Carrollton.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they were successful.
were they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about all I know. Printed fabrics was a success.
Yeah, I think it
And
was. Except that my dad told me that when they went around to various stores to try to sell the various patterns that they offered,
yeah.
Lord and Taylor would pick one and it would be hugely successful, but only to Lord and Taylor clients. And it was a bomb for the rest of the world. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Lord and Taylor knew its market.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about Turkey Hill?
Sure. Well, we lived at the top of North Avenue, which was almost Weston. And in a house that was rented from the Coley family. Coley family was an old family in Westport, and they had bees. Mr. Coley, when we moved to Long Lots in Turkey Hill, was our mailman. So he worked for the Postal Service. Anyway, the house at the top of North Avenue was actually two houses, one for my grandmother, my mother's mother, and her husband, and one for my parents and us.
Okay.
And there was a maid named May who lived up in the third floor, which must have been very uncomfortable, but that's where she lived. And then in 1941, on April 10th, during an ice storm, we moved 7 miles south to the bottom of North Avenue, and about 100 yards from the house, which is the Long Lots and Turkey Hill house, which I absolutely loved.
And how old were you then?
5.
Okay.
4. It was 27 acres and it was just absolutely wonderful. And because of the war, there were no cars on the road. So you could ride your bicycles and do any number of things. So I don't know how my brother feels about that house, but I love that house.
Yeah, no, he has very fond memories.
Yeah, and to me, the house on Clark Road had the same general appeal and feeling about it that the house in Westport had.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, when I first took Jeff to see the house on Clark Road, he said it was too expensive. It was I don't know, $185,000.
Yeah.
And he said we couldn't afford it. so we came back home and I went to bed and cried for 3 days. And he said, well, I think I'll renege my ill feelings about the house. It's okay.
That's funny.
Dear. So anyway, it was just a wonderful place.
Yeah, Pete said that you had chickens and pigs, and there
Steers.
was some steer that were run on the land.
Yeah, well, they got loose. They kept getting loose. And they'd appear 3 miles down the road at some farmer's house, and then my parents would have to pay for their board and rent and board until it was time to slaughter them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that worked. I know how the pig worked. The guy came and my brother watched it. I didn't watch it.
Yes, he reminisced about that.
Yeah. Did he like that?
No, I mean, he said it lived up to the the horror that he was warned. He said that you were forbade from doing that, from watching, and then he went and watched anyway.
I didn't realize we weren't supposed to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was optional. No, they slit their throats.
Yeah.
Yeah, ugly stuff.
Yep.
But they were pretty ugly pigs too.
And what do you remember about school in those days?
Well, I went to a million schools. I went to Greens Farms Elementary School, which was 9/10 of a mile from our house at the corner of Long Lodge and Turkey Hill. And because it was not 1 mile, I had no bus service. So at the age of 5, I walked by myself up to the nearest neighbor and picked her up. And then we went and picked up 2 more neighbors. And then we went down the hill to the school.
Yeah.
And there was a crossing guard at US 1, even though there weren't any cars. And so that was first grade, kindergarten and first grade.
Yeah.
And for second and third grades, I went to Mrs. Bolton's school in Westport, which was, I don't know what to say, was sort of an English school. Mrs. Bolton was from England and her sister, Miss Laycock, was from England. And then in fourth grade, Pete, in the meantime, had gone to this wonderful school called Umpqua. And it was in sort of North Fairfield, Stratfield. And so I went to Umpqua in fourth grade through 8th grade. Then in 9th grade, I went to Rosemary Hall in Greenwich through high school.
Yeah. And your dad was commuting into New York City during this time, right?
Yeah. But they had carpools. All the neighbors went in one car to the station.
I see.
And they took turns driving.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you had stickers on your window in the car. There was an A, which was a regular family car, and a B, which was a commuter car.
Okay.
So you were allowed more than your 3 gallons of gas for the week.
Sure.
Yeah, we never went anywhere.
Right.
Except I guess we went to Westport about once a week.
Kind of like now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're all spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And what about your mom? What do you remember about your mom when you were little?
Well, she was always supportive. She was sort of the interface between us and our dad.
Mm-hmm.
He was really sort of too busy to pay attention to us. So she is the person who wanted the children, and she did a good job taking care of us, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but our grandmother lived with us, my mother's mother.
Oh.
And apparently my mother did not really like her mother very much. Which she never told us that until Grammy was dead.
And your mother's maiden name was Margaret Jones, is that right?
Yeah, Margaret Abbott Jones, 2 B's
Okay.
and 2 T's.
Uh-huh. And do you know her mom's name?
Graves.
Okay. That was her
Um,
last name?
yeah, Graves
Got it.
is a big Guilford name.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I have a genealogy of the Graves family,
Hmm.
unless Allison took it back. It was done in
Excellent.
1906 by the family genealogist.
When you say the family genealogist, who is that?
The Graves family genealogist. I
Uh-huh.
can't remember his name.
Okay.
I'm sure he's long gone because he put together the genealogy in, as I said, 1906.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So anyway. So what is your yellow and red emblem?
That is the symbol on the New Mexico flag.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we've got the American flag, the New Mexico flag. Behind my head there is
Oh, it's
Illinois, for the
Illinois.
University of
Oh,
Illinois. Then we have a Connecticut flag, and then
what's the
Norway and
yeah,
New
what's the
Jersey.
Connecticut flag?
Yeah, it's got like a whale on it or something.
Yeah. Well, I guess there was huge whaling out of New London.
Yeah, for sure. That area was big whaling.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it
And
was
then
a
the
high
British,
risk, high reward industry. Apparently,
right,
a very high percentage of the ships that went out to sea never came back.
right.
Um,
I think that's true. And the flag that's red, white, and blue.
that's Norway.
Oh, okay. Of course it is.
Yeah,
And the state
yeah.
of New Jersey.
Both my sons are living in Norway.
Are both of them?
Yeah,
Oh, that's too bad for you.
yeah. Finn graduated and in May and has been living there since and
So
going to
he
school.
graduated from high school?
Yeah, he graduated high school here in Urbana and
Uh-huh.
then moved to Norway and is going to grade 13 there. He has to do an additional year of high school in order to go to
Yeah.
college in Norway.
Yeah, they do that in Canada too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, but they're good. They're well.
And are they staying near Lena or with Lena?
They're both with Lane at the moment. Julian is in the process of moving out on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a process, but he is dead set to make it happen.
Uh-huh.
He's not enjoying living with her, so I'm encouraging him, and that's about all I can do is say yes, do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I'm really happy that they're
How is she?
Oh, Lane is good. She's been stable for as long as I can remember, actually.
That's great.
She discovered Abilify, and that saved
That's
her
a
life.
medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's in a long-term relationship with a very nice guy who works for the Coast Guard.
Uh-huh.
And he is like the environmental safety director for the Coast Guard.
Uh-huh.
He's an outdoorsman. He kayaks and nice guy. I met him last a year ago, Christmas. I went there,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, things are good in Norway, except
Good.
it's dark and cold.
Right.
Um, but yeah, you could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
So, and they've done a good job keeping COVID under control.
Uh-huh.
It's not perfect, but
Yeah.
it's not the United States either. So
The
safer.
problem is we're too independent.
The United States?
Yeah, each person
Oh,
values his own independence and wants to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it.
okay. Well, you're very kind to use those words. I have stronger I have stronger words for Americans, but But
Yeah, they don't behave very well, do they?
well, we just we don't listen to the science, and so
I know.
c'est la vie.
And we don't have any, we did not have any leadership.
Correct. No leadership from the top. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So things are looking up.
definitely.
Between that and the COVID vaccination, life is blissful
Yeah.
compared to what it was.
Yeah, we have turned the corner seemingly.
I hope so.
So that's really good.
Yeah,
And crossing fingers.
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen Peter since it was January of 2020, I think, when I was there.
yeah.
Or no, maybe that was the same trip. So I visited, it must have been March. I visited Peter, and then I had a conference in New York, went to this conference, and then I met with my brother. We had dinner one night,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went home, and I got sick, and Ty got sick. That's that
Oh,
weekend.
I heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
Ty is convinced he had COVID, and he had the very distinctive symptoms of losing his sense of taste and smell.
yeah.
I had just more like stomach flu and a fever. So I don't know if I had it. I tested negative for antibodies much later that summer,
Yeah,
when I was able to get an antibody test. So it's inconclusive, and
yeah.
um, but so um, let's get back to the Montague graves. Uh, it's graves, right?
Yep.
And
My grandmother was, I'm trying to think of what her name was. Louise Graves Jones.
mhm.
Carolyn Louise Graves Jones.
Hmm.
And she was married to a lawyer who I guess commuted into New York.
Uh-huh.
It was only about 8 miles into New York. And they lived on a farm. They had a 20-acre farm in Forest Hills.
And that was in Queens?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Right next to the West Side Tennis Club. You know where that is?
I don't, but I
Yeah.
remember hearing about that reference.
Because your father, my brother, no, my father, um, was a ball boy for the US Open,
Oh, wow.
the
Cool.
West Side Tennis Club, except it wasn't, I think it was just called the US Championships or something.
Uh-huh. So there was another grandparent that lived with you, though, besides your mom's mom, right?
I don't think so.
Hmm. Okay.
Because
Yeah, I can't.
my mother was not very fond of Essie. Did you meet Essie?
No, I've not met any of the other relatives.
Oh, okay. Well, my father's mother was Essie. And her real name was Fairy Ethel Bargelbaugh before she married Randolph Tucker Montague.
Okay.
You need a genealogy.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
My brother has it.
Hmm.
I would think, the architects' renderings that are blue with white print that are massive in size.
Yeah.
You can find a place that has a copier that size. You could do the genealogy thing.
Okay.
It just needs a huge copier.
Okay. Yeah, I'll inquire about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I asked him for the genealogy, he sent me this book.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
maybe all the information is in the book.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, like I said, it's very long and I've only scratched the surface. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, I think Pete has the family Bible too. I could be wrong.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. He has started to hand off the artifacts. Last
Uh-huh.
time I was there, he gave me some of his, collected writings and publications.
Uh-huh.
Um, but but there's three of us, so he doles it out to all three of us, and
Yeah.
who knows.
Yeah.
So neither of my siblings are very good communicators about these things. So um Ty did visit Turkey Hill, apparently.
I think it was for sale at one point. Danny told me they almost bought it or they looked at it.
uh-huh.
Whatever happened to Danny?
Danny's around. I
Is
s- I
she?
spoke to her not too long ago, actually.
Uh-huh.
Just about 2 months ago.
Is she living in Westport?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. In the house that she bought and renovated herself?
I think that's right. Yeah, I've never been
Yeah.
to that. I've never been to that house, but
And did she sell the other one finally?
must have. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. And what's
Um,
Mac doing?
Mac is working in the ad industry, uh, at an agency that Ty worked for long, long ago,
Uh-huh.
and he's we went on a ski trip at Christmas, the four of us, me and Ty and Mac and Finn,
Uh-huh.
and so got to spend some time with Mac.
This Christmas?
Yeah, Finn came
Oh,
home and wanted to learn how to snowboard, and Ty was doing this. Ty's a crazy snowboarder, and so
I
we
know.
we tagged along on a ski trip to Montana and had a great time.
Oh, good.
But yeah, Mac works on a Nissan account. He's an account manager, so he's kind of the go-between between the client and the creative team.
Uh-huh.
He's not happy. It's a tough job. It's thankless. It's nonstop work, and
Yeah.
but you know, uh, what are you gonna? Excuse me. What are you gonna do?
I don't
Um,
know.
he My brother's convinced that he needs to get on the client side and go, so work for a corporation, not an ad agency. Ty thinks the ad world is dying. Um,
Could be.
and so we'll see. The apple has not fallen far from the tree, and that's how these things go. I mean,
Yeah.
Danny put tremendous pressure on Mac to go into advertising, apparently, and my brother is pissed off about that, but it's Mac's decision. Ultimately, he does have free will, and he can do something else if he really wanted
Yeah.
to. um I found that coat of arms you were referring to, so I'm going to put that on screen. um I do remember seeing a
Oh, look at
painting.
that. Yeah.
It says coat of arms of Montague of Virginia,
Huh.
and
Now, is that from the book?
that this is in the book. Yeah, it says the upper left quadrant is the shield associated with the Montagues of Bovany, as shown in the introduction.
Huh. And where is Bobigny?
I don't know, somewhere in England, I think.
Not France?
Oh, maybe. Tell me about that. What? Yeah, I think of Montague as an English name, but with French roots.
How about you Google it? Really?
Well, Montan, of course, is a French word, and
Yeah.
the origin, but the Montagues that came to Virginia came from England, right?
Yeah.
Where
Okay.
did where did your mom's family come from?
Well, Graves came into the US in Boston, I think,
Hmm.
and eventually found their way through Rhode Island to Connecticut.
And they were English as well, or what?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. So you've got a real job ahead.
Oh, it's a good side job.
Yeah.
I'm not hardcore about this, but I am curious, and it's funny, as you get older, you get more interested in your roots,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
I had no interest 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm seemingly the only one of the three of us that really have the interest. My brother's slightly curious, but
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's hard not um I didn't spend much time with Margaret and John, much more with Margaret than with John.
Mm-hmm. She
I
called
have,
herself Peggy.
yeah, I have very few memories of Granddaddy.
Me too.
I have photos from Abaco, which are you know, quite awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and
And he
but
was,
yeah, my dad describes Granddaddy as very stern and
yeah.
uh aloof.
Yeah.
So,
And he wanted to do what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it.
well, don't
Like,
we all?
yeah, but the rest of us have to wait our turn. He didn't wait his turn.
Uh,
No,
Meaning, are you suggesting that he ruled the roost with an iron fist, kind of, or
yeah,
yeah?
yeah. And if something went wrong, we went to our mother and she straightened it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I feel, he died in 1973. That's a
Yes.
long time ago.
Yeah, I was in
I,
third grade.
yeah, I almost never think about him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Willoughby was 10. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably
And 8
7,
and 6. Yeah.
and I think Willoughby's about 3 or 4 years older than me.
Yeah. She was born in 62.
Yeah, 3 years. I was born in
Yeah.
65.
Yeah.
You were born in 36?
7
Okay.
February.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I have found that if you stop moving, you are sunk.
How so?
I mean, you have to do exercises every day.
Oh, my
At least
goodness.
I do, in
Yeah.
order to keep the old parts oiled
Yeah.
and working.
Yeah. How are your knees?
My knees are great. I have 2 new knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have 1 new hip.
Okay. Yeah, my brother's considering, I think, knee replacement.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, he had a surgery this past fall,
Uh-huh.
which was a stopgap, but the writing is on the wall that he's going to have knee replacement surgery.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's trying to delay it, right? Because those machines don't last forever.
but they last longer and longer all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I went to the hospital for special surgery, which is in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And my surgeon was Russell Windsor, Windsor. And it was the first one. Well, this is true, the second one too. I could walk a mile in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And there was really virtually no pain. They manage the pain beautifully. They manage everything beautifully.
Yeah.
It's just a fabulous place. It's on the East River,
Okay.
maybe 72nd Street,
Okay.
and good place to go if you got bones that hurt.
Excellent.
They call themselves specialists in motion.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to set him back with his snowboard for a while.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um Yep. We will see. We will see.
Yeah. So.
Well, is there anything else? We'll end this conversation shortly, but is there anything else from your early years that you remember that you'd like to shine a light
I
on?
can remember tons of stuff.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I want to hear
Yeah,
it.
I don't think Pete remembers a lot about his childhood. I'm not really sure why, but I loved my childhood. I loved the house. I loved everything we did. I didn't like Mrs. Bolton's school, but I loved Umpqua.
Yeah.
Jeff and I were, we're part of the Yale Alumni Chorus, and the chorus went to, I guess it was about 200 people, went to South America for a tour.
Okay.
And when we were having dinner on the beach in Rio, we were having dinner with two friends whom we didn't, just sort of picked up and went to dinner. And one of them was describing his academic life. And he said, and I went to this wonderful school named Umpqua. And Tom Aikenhead, who was next to him, said, I went there too.
Uh-oh.
And it comes to me and I said, I went there too. So here are three of us out of six.
Wow.
In Brazil, having gone to the same school and not knowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's part of our problem right now, Tim, is that singing is the worst thing you can do for COVID. I mean, it spreads it like crazy.
Yeah.
And Jeff sings all the time, or would like to.
Yeah.
So that's been hard.
Do they
And
meet virtually then, or how are they doing this?
Yeah, there's actually software. You sing and record your part, and then you send it to somebody, and they put it together as a chorus. It takes lots of smarts to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hopefully if everybody gets the vaccine, we'll be able to proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So do you want me to study up a subject for the next call?
Sure. Yeah.
What would you like it to be?
Well, I don't know what I don't. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know, Landa. It's a big.
Oh, okay.
It's really a black hole. I mean, I've heard obviously a sliver from Pete's perspective.
Yeah.
He talked quite a bit about the some of the caretakers or servants, he calls them, that lived with you. There was a Japanese couple.
Yeah, Raymond and Desi Katagi.
He was very fond of that Japanese couple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The man apparently went out of his way to make little toys for Pete and things like that.
Yeah, the guy was a magician with making things.
Yeah.
We one of my mother's favorite china lamps that had a very intricate pattern on it. We fell off the table one day onto the hearth and shattered into a million pieces, and Raymond put it back together again.
Wow.
Yeah. But I remember during the war, when if there was a light on in your house, the air raid warden would come and sit in his car with the horn on until you turned out the light. This was at night because we had a brownout.
Yeah.
We had curtains in all the windows to keep the light in.
Yeah. That must have been kind of creepy.
It was just part of growing up. It wasn't creepy at all.
No?
No. Well, it was a big house, or I thought it was a big house.
Yeah. But were you afraid of the Germans?
Yeah, I still am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm afraid of the Chinese. I'm not afraid of the Germans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're too dependent on China for manufacturing. I think that's
you're probably right. Yeah.
a fatal flaw, but
yeah. Every time I hear an airplane, when I was little, every time I heard an airplane, I was terrified.
Uh-huh.
because there weren't that many airplanes.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to talk about anything that is of interest to you. And
Okay.
so if you want to do this again, maybe in 2 weeks,
Sure.
I
I'm
don't
not
know
going.
if did the calendar invitation work? I sent you a calendar invitation via Google, but
When did you do that?
shortly after we had emailed and agreed on, a
I don't
meeting
think
today.
I don't think I got it.
But let's just agree on a date and time, and then you can mark
Okay.
your calendar.
Okay.
Um,
I've never done Google Meets, so I'd rather do Zoom.
yeah, Zoom is my preferred platform.
Okay.
I know how to use Zoom.
Okay.
So 2 weeks would be the 17th.
Let me look. Yep. That's fine.
Same time. Does that work?
Yep.
Okay. Great. I will set that up, and I'll just email you the link, shortly before.
Okay.
And so just check your email. And I have your home phone, so if I can't reach you, I'll just call you. But
Okay. Sounds
and
good.
in the meantime, I'll talk to my dad about the family tree and see if he has that. I know I saw it once a long time ago,
Yeah.
and so we'll get to the bottom of that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I love you.
I love you too.
Say hi to Jeff.
I will.
All right. Bye.
Trying to find my little leave. Goodbye.
Bye.